Something as simple as seeing a movie isn't so easy for those who can't hear.
But thanks in part to the hard work of an Omaha grandma, many Metro cinemas now have new technology for the hearing impaired.
Here's KETV News Watch 7's Natalie Glucklich.
For the first time in his 14 years, Danny Glazer is seeing the movie he wants.
Hey, we'll buy 2 tickets for Footloose.
All right.
You see, Danny was born deaf.
And with the closed captioning.
All right.
And most cinemas don't show most movies with the words on the bottom of the screen.
When a friend asked you if you wanted to see a certain movie, you would have to say, I have to check at the theater. And then if it wasn't in that theater, you have to say, I can't go, this is the only movie. And if it wasn't a movie that you liked, then you couldn't go.
And everybody would be watching the movie, and I would be leaning over and signing, and he would be looking at me. And it was depressing.
But Grandma Phyllis Glazer decided depressing really wasn't for her.
There's an upside and a downside to everything. I prefer the upside.
In 2007, Phyllis began what would become a long chain of emails to the corporate offices of Rave Motion Pictures. With a lot of persistence and $7,500 from her family endowment and her personal savings, Rave at Westroads agreed to buy a system called Mopix, a small caption display with words reflected from the projector booth.
And everybody's sitting and watching A Christmas Carol, and smiling, and I'm sitting there crying. Oh, it was such a relief.
Marcus Cinemas went digital in August, along with a lot of other cinemas across the country. It made it a lot easier for them to provide captioning for the hearing impaired. The words simply stream on this mobile device.
It's called Captiview. It sits in your drink holder, and it's now offered at almost every Marcus Cinema in Omaha.
And now, look. Digital. Thank you for digital.
And I want to move on behalf of most of the senior class of Beaumont High.
And even though it's not perfect, Danny still has to look back and forth from the screen to the words. He says it is pretty cool.
Then I thought I would be able to finally go to movies with my friends and have fun and get the real movie experience that everybody else gets with the popcorn and the theater.
And that is music to this grandma's ears.
I think when you realize that you have a handicap you can't change, but you can certainly reach out and make it better for so many other people, it's a reward.
In Omaha,
you know he was real, bro.
Natalie Glucklich, KETV News Watch 7.
Similar technology also in the works to help the blind, featuring an audio device describing what's going on in the movie.